Let's look at significant digits. One of the challenges in chemistry is to do a calculation and know how to round the number off. You know that when you use your calculator, sometimes you'll get like 49 decimal places. And obviously, we can't claim to have that level of precision. But the problem is, how do I know how many decimal places I can keep? Well, we're not actually going to get to that today. But what I will be able to get to is taking a number and identifying how many significant digits it has. And then later on, we can worry about knowing how many significant digits to keep in our answer. So let's just start with how many significant digits does a number have? Essentially, there's two kinds of numbers, those with decimal points and those without decimal points. Two different sets of rules. So let's start with some numbers that do have decimal points. The rule is, if the decimal point exists, then you start counting on this side of the number. We used to have a textbook that called it the Pacific side. If you think of the United States, the Pacific Ocean is kind of on the left side, the west side. And so if the decimal point is present, starts with P, you start counting on the Pacific side, also starts with P. And you have to start counting with the first non-zero digit. So that's key, the first non-zero digit. And then you count everything after that. So here, we're going to start counting on this side, but we don't count this, we don't count this, we don't count this. Only this is what we would consider a significant digit. So this has one digit that is significant. On this, we're, again, decimal point present, start counting on the Pacific side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, because the first number is a non-zero digit. So all of these are significant. So we have 4 digits. And here, again, starting on this side with the first non-zero digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll count this because once we start counting, we don't stop. So now we have 5 digits. Notice that the numbers we're leaving out are place-holding zeros. These are zeros that are there only to locate the decimal point. Those are called place-holding zeros, and those are not significant. All right, let's look at the kind of number where you don't have a decimal point. So let's say that we have the number 200, or we can have the number 475, or we can have something like that. Decimal point absent, we start counting from the Atlantic side. So in other words, we're going to start counting from this side if there is no decimal point. Again, we have to start with the first non-zero number. So over here, we can't count that, we can't count that, but we do count this, so we only have one digit that is considered significant there. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3, because once we start counting, we count all of them. And here we have 1, 2, 3. Even though there's a 0 there, it's sandwiched in the middle and it counts. So any number that's not a 0 always is significant. The only questionable digits are the zeros. And the only time that those are not significant is if they're place-holding zeros. So that means zeros that are around the decimal point when you don't have anything over here, or zeros like this. Sometimes those are called trailing zeros, when the decimal point would be here if it was present, but it isn't, so the number is rounded off to that level of precision. So those are not significant digits. And that's all you have to know.